Herald-Times sports editor Chris Korman here, joined by Dustin Dopirak. ScoopTalk has a much more official feel today, Dustin.
Yes, it does.
We're in a hotel in Madison.
Yeah.
The Capitol is behind us. We have a magnificent view.
We do. It's even cooler, like, at night when they have this, like, big red, like, floodlight that, like, goes over the Capitol dome. I thought it might actually be painted that color. It's not, because it's actually, like, gray.
Because that'd be incredibly cheesy.
But it would
almost
be cool.
As cheesy as my coffee mug.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
There's nothing in here.
No, not at all. He's just doing that to look cool.
We must get to the serious matter of basketball, because there is much to discuss with the Indiana Hoosiers these days. Another no-show. Complete no-show from the Hoosiers tonight.
Yeah, they got
third game in a row.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was rough. 83-55 final this time, and it was never a game.
When would you say Wisconsin stopped playing real hard? Probably before half.
Wow, maybe. I mean, it was just easy for them. There was the word "no resistance" was used a few times, and that's basically what it was. I mean, there was nothing stopping them from doing anything. Really.
Take me through. Let's just get right into it. Dan Dockich, of all people, IU player, IU coach for a long time, Bob Knight disciple.
Yeah.
Has been all week saying that this team is not playing with any pride. Apparently said it on the Big Ten Network immediately after the game. I've been reading a few of his comments. And I mean that's plain for anyone to see. The question is why it's happening. How does that happen? There's got to be something to it. And we basically got to the point of just asking the players, why are you not trying?
What's
take
wrong
me through. Daniel Moore was first.
Yeah. I mean, his thing was I don't know. I mean, they've all sort of admitted.
Right.
Nobody said, "Oh, I think we're doing okay. We're making." No, everyone was like, "I don't know what's wrong. We're not doing anything right. We're not playing hard. We're not playing with pride." Riddell, Moore said that, and then Halls kind of said the same thing.
The phrase "I don't have an answer for that" was
I think used at least 3 times today.
Yeah. Which you feel bad as a reporter. I mean, it's obviously a loaded question in many ways, but it's also so painfully obvious right now that that's what's going on. And there's got to be something to it. And more than likely, it's behind-the-scenes things that they're not going to talk about. But I don't think that this team likes playing together right now.
I don't think I think you're probably right. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Right. And that's one of those weird things where you kind of wish you got to see that stuff. I have no idea what explains this. Basically, I mean, but more or less, I mean, there's all kinds of rumors going around of all kinds of stuff that we don't have any confirmation on. So, but I mean,
well, rumors are going to get spread. But anybody who's ever been on a team knows that the building of a team. Pride in a jersey. You can put on an Indiana jersey. You can get recruited by IU. You can be Jordan Holes. Your grandfather can be an IU coach.
Yeah.
You can grow up in Bloomington knowing what IU is all about. You're not going to get the pride in a jersey. It's not a pride in that, and it's not a pride in the history of the program. You're not proud that you're playing for a program that won 5 national titles. The pride that you need as a player comes from working with guys that you like and trying to strive for a goal and doing it together. And this team right now is not together. I don't think there's any question about that. That right now it's splintered in ways that we're not able to tell up close. But it's certainly playing itself out on the court. We may not know causes, situations, anecdotes.
What problem with what, but it's not playing together. It's not playing hard. No, I mean, plain and simply, that's all going on. I mean, there's a lot painfully obviously wrong with this team right now, and as it was said a bunch of times, it's a lack of pride, and it just so happens that this happens to come along at the same time that they might be playing the 3 most talented teams in this league, and well, those guys are going to expose it. When you get Ohio State, Wisconsin, Michigan State in 3 games in a row, and you play like you're not together, you're not playing hard, you're not playing well, you're not doing anything right, well, you're going to get pummeled, like they did today, like they did against Ohio State, and obviously. Like what happened at Michigan State.
Indiana's defense today was not subpar for AAU level. I mean, it was just mental breakdown, lack of anything. They had to go to a 1-3-1.
People,
and they're just throwing junk defenses out there now.
And the only person who was really playing hard, there were 2 people I thought were at least trying on defense: Tijon and Daniel Moore. And Tijon almost killed a couple guys.
That's Tijon.
Yeah, it was scary. I would not have been wanted to be in the Wisconsin uniform at that point. He was going to hurt some people.
It's true.
But, I mean, any defense they did, it didn't matter. Jason Bohannon goes off for 30 points. Just had all day to shoot. You know,
and
he's a good shooter, but
Wisconsin has how many guys who can break you down off the dribble?
Yeah.
Trayvon Hughes, a couple other guys. Bohannon could put it on the floor a little bit, but they are not.
No.
I mean,
no. It was not like, you had some devastating crossover.
There were people
guys.
driving.
They just drove in the middle, and it was a couple of guys waved arms in their general direction.
Right.
And, and that usually resulted in an and one if they made contact.
Right.
And that's pretty much, there was no resistance.
Didn't guard Bohannon. I mean, another sharpshooter just didn't handle him.
Not at all.
The guy scores 30 points. He's just standing in a corner by himself most of the time.
Yeah. And there was one, I mean, the most open he was, Hughes actually missed him. I mean, he was sitting alone in a corner by himself, and, there was nobody within, nobody was from closer to the paint. He was out in the corner. Nobody was on his side of the floor.
Right.
And Hughes just didn't see him and tried to drive him to a foul.
Right.
But, I mean, there was a bunch of those. I mean, sometimes it was guys getting lost on picks, but that's part of it, too. Guys aren't fighting through those extremely well, or communicating off of them, or, talking. Yeah.
Green said they're a very quiet team. He said there's no one in the huddle who can say, come on, let's get through this. And we've been hearing that all along. And that's the trick right now for us, or the problem is that all this is happening in the context of, oh my gosh, the program was gutted, it started over, these kids are all young. That's all fine and good, and and that has to be in the background. That's always the backdrop of what we're talking about.
Of course it is.
But if you just had a team, I mean, if we can just get back to sports for a second, just regular old sports, every team in college sports is put together anew each season.
Yeah.
And there's some remnants and that, but you always see some cohesion happening, and it's just not happening with that group.
No, this is, I mean, again, you like you said, you always have to keep that in the background. You always have to point that stuff out in terms of where this team is compared to where it used to be in its heyday. But this is the type of thing that does that have something to do with it? Sure, because it's a bunch of young guys who don't have it together. But this team was better 2 weeks ago, a lot better 2 weeks ago. Just because, I mean, just in terms of fighting and working hard. And that's not excusable by, any of these other measures.
Right.
Basically. This team can work hard. It's done it, and it's not.
Tom Crean called it a stage. He said, I think his quote was, there's no other way to look at this other than a stage we have to go through.
Yeah. And that's, when you're an IU fan, that's not what you want to hear. It's a stage now.
Right.
It's like, you don't see this from too many teams. This isn't a good stage. This is not a good stage to be in. When you start referring to it as a stage, this means it might take a while to get through this part of it.
Right.
And that's really concerning.
Most interesting part of the post-game festivities, I think, for me, was Crean talking about playing Christian Watford.
Yeah.
Making him stay in the game because Watford needs to learn to fight through things. Needs to learn that he's not tired.
That was my favorite line. Was he said he needs to learn that he's not tired.
Right.
And that was interesting. I wanted to press him on that a little bit more and find out, okay, what did you see that said, that he's not fighting through it? Like, where, what do you mean by that? And he was Tom and sort of ducked it a little bit. But, that's really interesting to hear that, he hasn't shown the kind of toughness, I guess.
It's also the first time Crean has been very public about a lesson about people talk about, why isn't Dumas being benched? Why isn't Crean more in people's faces? They're very much expecting, as we've said before, the Indiana basketball culture is accustomed to very public displays
of frustration,
of discipline.
And yeah, exactly.
Right. They're used to seeing a player get pulled out and screamed at or whatever, and this isn't that, but it's certainly Crean saying, I have this guy, he's failing here, here's how I'm trying to fix him.
Yeah.
So that's, I'm anxious to see how Watford responds, because he obviously does have a load of talent, and I think he's had 15 points each of these games that they've been in the lull, but he had 3 rebounds today.
Exactly.
There's no reason, Wisconsin's a great rebounding team.
There's no reason he should be held to rebounds. He's their guy. I mean, he's got to get boards, and he's an athlete. He can, jump, and he should be able to box some people out by now. It seemed like he'd been making a lot of strides up until the last couple.
Right. What was the Wisconsin guy's quote? Mike Brzezinski. I can't remember his name.
No, I can't remember.
But he came in after he got 7 rebounds.
Yeah, he said nobody was checking me.
The big burly guy, he said, every time the shot went up, nobody checked me. I felt like I could go get a rebound whenever I wanted.
Yeah. And he wasn't. This wasn't a guy being brash, like he was trying to say, like.
He was very.
It was a very earnest, he was a quiet kid, I was there, and nobody was guarding me.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what today was.
That's today.
Yeah.
We got to get out of here. We got to write stories. We haven't written yet. We decided to talk to you first.
Exactly.
I would like to thank Dustin, this lamp, who has also starred in Scoop Talk today,
yes.
and the Capitol building. It really is there.
Actually,
wow, what's going on there?
It's right now.
Oh man! All right, we'll see you guys.
You guys
later.
can see it.